Meanwhile, and possibly slightly later in the morning, in the hillfolk camps outside of town, Shining Star and Christabel were looking for Lucky Luke Crawford, their contact within the camps, but instead found themselves walking into a large elven pavilion pitched in the middle of camp, with an altar at the front of it, and Shining Star's friend Evergreen Blessing officiating and exhorting the somewhat distracted and hungry-looking people who have gathered together to hear her words. You may have time to form the opinion that their reason for being here could be related to the table piled with food at one side of the bed. But as you stumble through, the large crowd of you stumble through the entrance into the pavilion, I believe we have Shining Star, newly rejuvenated and uncursed. Christabel, surprisingly successful at entreating Jessie Lou, and now carrying a strangely unresponsive and unconscious sleeping child. Moon's Glow, Shining Star's younger sister, and an assortment of animals, including two large green Kushi dogs, and the ever-present presence of Champ, the feathered cave slope.
What about all the little Tweety birds and stuff? Are they still around?
They kind of
little,
disappeared.
Hopping rodents and assorted varmints.
I really should have had them some sort of musical break there, shouldn't we?
Yeah. All right. Well, then the somewhat fuzzy crew of us. Well, I will say to everybody, to my friends and family and assorted associates, this is an acquaintance of mine who, until recent events, I would have called my best friend. However, much has happened since then, and what remains between us is an obligation, which I can meet. I should warn you, it's been a few years, so I can't say for sure, but Evergreen Blessing was never known for her moral fiber.
Well, that much is clear.
Well. I'm also a little puzzled because she was a priestess on her way up in the hierarchy of Dana. She was a comer. And this is way off the beaten path for that career track. And so it's clear there's some surprises in store for me. I kind of need to go do this. I know I keep saying that. I need to go do this, and I need to go do that, and all the rest of it. But I do promise this is the last.
So,
it's
just as you're saying that, from the front of the congregation, Evergreen Blessing calls out across the room and says, "Is the child sick? Bring her up here. Perhaps she could be healed by the presence of Dana."
Gladly. I'll come forward.
Ooh.
I'll look at Star.
I'll give you a look that I can only verbally describe as, hey, if you want to, pour honey all over yourself and sit in the ants, you go right ahead.
At the front of the
as in, this is not going to go well, but this is evidently what we're going to do. Here comes trouble.
All right. I'll walk forward.
Cool. So,
with the dogs.
Okay.
And the child.
And the child. Okay, cool. So she motions you to sit her down on the slightly raised stage. And she says, a child of Jessie Lou, is it? Being as this is what they call red-headed children.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're very culturally knowledgeable. I don't know what's wrong with her. She was.
That's actually kind of encouraging that she would say that rather than disturbing.
So
Jessie Lou led me to her. In fact, she was being held, as far as I know, against her will north of town. What? Do I need to do anything to trigger my question power, or?
That's a good question. Strictly speaking, in the rules, it just says you can only use it in a non-combat situation.
All right, well,
this is a non-combat situation, so go for it. You'll need to roll interrogate.
I'm gonna let this play out a little longer before I make the roll because how many minutes it's active is relevant.
Fair enough. So she's kind of fussing in an elfy way over the young child.
Well, let me say, do you know what's wrong with her? That's not one.
She said, I can't be sure, but perhaps with fortune, the gods, Jessie Lou, Dana, whoever will look down on her fondly and help her recover. And she's getting a temperature and things like that. And looking up, clearly praying in some internal way. Make a alertness roll.
Would it be okay if I make a religion roll, Ross?
Yeah, go for it.
To, I think, fairly evidently why I would do this.
That seems reasonable. You get +2 scholarships because it's your religion.
I got a good result on my alertness roll.
Okay, cool. Mr. Bell.
Yeah.
You're sure you see her slip something from a pouch on her belt as she's laying hands on the child, and then hide it away in her sleeve after she's done something. But you can't quite make out what it was that she did. But the girl starts to stir.
All right. I'll trigger my ability now.
Seems like she's.
Well.
How did the theology roll go?
Oh, my theology was quite inferior.
Oh, okay.
And I will venture, unless you correct me, I'll venture to say that, I squint for a little while and then I say, well, I guess all Dana is Dana, and leave it at that when clearly we are dealing with some branch of degeneracy, heresy, or syncretism, or a blend thereof.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, reasonable.
That's where I'm at.
Dana's Dana, as you say. Perhaps you'll get a chance to find out more about it.
Line up.
Okay.
Interrogate. How well?
On my interrogate, well, I got a feeble result.
Oh
no. That served us so nicely that first time with Moddrift.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's just been wretched.
Yeah.
So,
if I think do I have to break the line to get a question, I think? Let me just look at it.
So, I haven't given her an intelligence score yet. but I'm fairly certain it's higher than feeble. So,
Okay, fair enough.
because she is. So I'm afraid that means you don't get any minutes of being able to ask her yes/no questions. I'm afraid. Do you start to say something? Or
I think I'm.
are you sizing her up, perhaps, and
yeah.
Her beatific religious demeanor, somehow you know you're going to bounce off and not be able to.
I think I'm suddenly intimidated by the situation with her sort of driving this situation, and a lot of people who are obviously grateful to her for the food, at least, watching us.
It's not nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
so as the child starts to stir, Evergreen Blessing says, Dana be praised.
Boy, that really worked exactly the opposite of what I.
And she looks over to the corner and nods to an elf that is sitting there with a lute, and they start playing.
Wait, another elf
music.
with a lute?
No? Yes, sorry, I should have mentioned. She's kind of hiding in the shadows in the corner. If you wanted to retrospectively notice her, and
no. I'm
okay, cool. Sorry, another elf with lute.
I would certainly have been focused on Evergreen Blessing. I don't find that unusual that I wouldn't notice. I'm just going to be a little curious about this.
Mm. So she's playing beautiful elfie music in the room, and clearly people have been here before, and they know that this is now fine, that they can make their way over to start enjoying the bounties of Dana on the Trufflook side. So Evergreen Blessing, Christabel says, perhaps I should look after the child for a wee time. You know, is she yours?
No, I'm afraid not. You don't know anything about her?
I can see she's in trouble and needs help. Give me an intelligence roll.
Superior.
Oh, okay. You can tell she's something about that answer was just two pats and two
yeah,
no doubt.
That's what
so you easily see through her lie that she doesn't know anything about stuff.
I had better, if only I could find her mother. Actually, I was gonna take her walking around. Oh wait, is she awake now?
She's waking up. Yeah, she's
okay.
Looking up at the scary elf lady towering over.
I was going to say the ammonia salts that Evergreen Blessing cracked under her nose probably did the job.
All right. Hey, sweetie, can you hear me? What's your name?
There's just a moment where she looks up at Evergreen Blessing before she answers. And she says, I'm Hallie, Mom. How did I get here?
Well, you were asleep. Oh, this is really the lines. You were asleep. What's the last thing you remember? I'll just do this right in front of the. Why not?
Okay, that's going to need a roll. So, are you trying to be supportive and friendly and the shoulder that she can confide in front of the scary album, or are you trying to pin her down with an interrogator?
No, I'm not trying to interrogate her.
Cool, give me a charm roll then.
Okay. Passable. I'll take anything that's on that side of the line.
Yeah, cool. So, passable. So she starts to say, I remember the giant chasing its hands, and then there must be something that I kind of don't remember. And kind of clams up.
All right. Well, we won't worry about that for now. Let's just get you. Do you know where your parents are staying?
I don't really have none parents, but I've got to find my brother. My brother Joe. He needs me to look after him. And Marion, we can go back to Marion's camp.
Oh, that's right. You're right. That's exactly what we need to do.
So we were at least on the right track.
I'll say to Evergreen's blessing, thank you. I appreciate it. And then hustle the kid away from the stage.
Okay, so I'll be walking forward at about that point, and you and I will sort of brush shoulders as you're hustling back and I'm stepping forward. Is that okay, Rod?
Yeah, that's fine.
And I'll lean over and I'll say, donation.
To Christopher.
Oh, right. I'll throw a couple of silver bottles. Or chalice or whatever the hell it is.
I'm certain that the necessary receptacle is obvious.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lovely carved wooden plate with lovely elfy, leafy, flowery carving. Right.
I'll do kind of a double take at the amount that Christabel threw in there. It's like 2 silvers. Come on. And I said a donation, not an endowment, for God's sake. All right, so, but I'm walking forward.
Flashback to stealing the silver coins out of your family's strongbox.
Right. In the house. Well, I mean, that's my point. Those are valuable, you know. All right, I'm going to be playing my lute, and it will be in a nice harmony with whatever the fellow is playing over there. So that is my entertain skill, correct?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be if you want to. Are you aiming to do anything specific by doing this, or just
only to create a general distraction from the I want our music to be the focus of attention, so that Christabel is kind of over there, and also it's a friendly enough gesture. I think that's the idea. So
let's see how it goes. Give me an entertain roll.
Unfortunately, my roll is not so hot, but my entertain roll is quite hot. So, oh shoot! Just by a percentage point, I fail with a poor.
A poor, okay.
So I don't hack
Still partially successful.
It is clear that I can play the lute. We just don't mesh real well, and it's a complete failure in terms of my intention.
At least for now, the elf maiden with her lute in the corner is not exactly playing you off the stage, but dominating the tune. Yeah.
I'll kind of trail off without distinguishing myself, and come up to Evergreen Blessing.
Evergreen Bless, who is all beaming smiles and happy and rejoicing to see you, and says, "Shining Star, you look so well."
And I will say Evergreen Blessing, and I'll even give her a little sisterly hug, and say, I'm glad to see that you are healthy and whole. There is a little matter of a debt that we sort of created and that you were generous enough to help with years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The person from whom the debt would rightly be collected is not going to pay it. And I have exacted retribution upon him for that. So I think we can call that source of funding a write-off. Which I'm sorry to say I did try my best. However, I do have a gift from another and perhaps far greater source, and may it bring you great success in your endeavors. And I kind of look around with a bit of quizzical wonder on my face, and say, all I know is that this has some great occult and mystic force from our culture, and I will take off the red scarf.
Ooh.
And I will give her the red scarf and say, this should discharge my debt to you.
Ooh, okay. So she puts her hand on your arm, and there are several moments where she looks like she's trying to consider this interrupting. She's not so impolite of an elf as to that. And then she says, it's early to have seen you and be talking of money already, but if there's a debt you feel you have to discharge, then I would not want to stand in your way from doing that. And give me an intelligence roll.
Say that again?
Give me an intelligence roll.
Oh, well, that's a little bit better. Okay, my intelligence is no small thing, and with a roll of 66, I head over very nicely into the good territory.
Cool.
Which may not quite be the great that I need for an exceptional success, but I'm righter than I'm wrong.
Absolutely. So you can clearly see that although she's saying money is not important, that seeing you is a reward in itself. She's absolutely got gleaming eyes as you hand her the scarf.
Of course she is. And that is great. Because I will always remember our friendship, Evergreen Blessing. I hope you do the same. Goodbye.